You can now fly a Wyvern in Crimson Desert! Whoa, okay, and the craziest thing is, this is not the biggest change or the only change that Prolibus made in Crimson Desert. No, they added a bunch more stuff like new combat systems, new mini games, new improvements to the reblockade system, and a lot more. And the coolest part is liberating strongholds now gives contribution, provisions, trade goods, and other items. Now we need to get into the mini games. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to actually subscribe to the channel because I do Crimson Desert videos all the time and I would hate for you to miss out on them. Please subscribe. So for the mini games, you have two new mini games now. You have the Orb Roll minigame and the Pinball minigame. Now the Pinball one you can get at the Delesian Institute. Here you can play, well, pinball, as you guys might know the game, if you're old enough. And you can get Marni Exchange Tokens from that game. Now, the obtainable items you can buy with the Marni Token Exchange is the Material Box of Fortune, Abyss Artifacts, 2 types of artifact chests, a helm, and 13 types of furniture and 3 types of gear crafting recipes. For the Orb Roll game, you can find that near the Great Gate at Hurdava. I hope I pronounced that correctly. The items you can obtain here is essentially similar, but instead of the last few like the helm, the furniture, and the gear crafting recipes, you can now get golden apple, 3 types of carpets, and 3 types of lights. Then we need to get into the actual big kahunas of this update, the mounts. Now, while it's very cool to hatch your own baby wyvern, you can now actually grow your wyvern by feeding it some meat 3 times a day, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You do that for 3 days, and now you have your very own mount that you can fly around. So it's not only the dragon anymore, you can now fly forever. And as far as I know, it has infinite stamina, so, you know, there's always that. And of course, with a new mount comes a new saddle, the Wyvern saddle. And some new pet equipment you can get is the small cuckoo bird eggshell and the small Wyvern aviator hat, which I think would look amazing on your pets. Now, let's get into the content of the game. So in the content panel, Prolibus actually changed the lock items so that you can now remove Abyss gears from them. They also improved the large farming scythe so that it can be used to obtain gatherable items, added the carpet category to the house decoration category, added carpets to the items sold at some dye houses, added a cat tower to Fullington Farm in the Azarian estate, improved the animation of feeding certain wild animals while holding them, and changed the item description of Sigil of Valor. The Sigil of Valor can now be equipped on dogs and baby wyverns, and soon it'll be able to be equipped on the Iron Eagle and the Phoenix. Then they added a map to the Constellation Research Journal to improve it so that the location of constellations can actually be found through it, and they changed the carry postures for certain animals. Now for the controls and combat actions. For the controls, they changed the basic interactions, which is Y on the Xbox controller and triangle on the Sony controller, to not operate as long press when using the default customization preset. They changed the Axiom 4 so that its buttons can be customized, which is pretty cool, and they fixed an issue when customizing secondary keys, the customization settings would not save properly. That is for keyboard and mouse. Then for the combat and action, they added a ground attack skill to Black Star. They also improved it so that you can change your element slot to arrow, bullet, or small cannonball slot during a boss battle. The changes are kept even after dying and retrying. Then for Damien, they adjusted the damage of unarmed skills, and they improved arrows so that normal arrows can be used first when replenishing arrows run out. Then with the UI fixes and improvements, they did a few things that stand out to me, but one of the things that actually stands out to me the most is the improvements to the photo mode, which is always welcome in my eyes. Then of course they added a new tab where you can actually see the growth of your pets in real time. They also changed the category tabs in the mission dispatch menu from region-based to mission-based, which is, yet again, always welcome. Now, when it comes to the other fixes in the game, there's just so many that sound very similar, at least in the beginning, that it's gonna be impossible for me to go through. So I would urge you guys, if you want to see all the like random known fixes that was fixed in the game, to read through all of that. But before you actually do that, I want you to let me know in the comment section down below what is the most requested feature that you would like to see in Crimson Desert, as well as what are the features that you really dislike in the game. With that being said though, I really hope you guys enjoyed this very short but somewhat interesting video. If you want to see more like this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, Greymanes.